How you feeling, Chad? How's everything?
You know, one of the things that I know people used to say, fathers training sons, is that, you know, that sometimes it doesn't work out. That whole distinction gets blurred between father, son, and trainer, fighter, and so on and so forth. I know that it was a burden, you know, when Joe and Marvis, you know, Marvis trying to live up to his father and everything like that. Working with your dad, I mean, you know, like, do those lines get blurred? You know, the father, son, fighter, trainer.
No, not really in boxing, because at the end of the day, man, my father is my father at home, but in here he's my trainer, and he understands it too. And I just think that worked out for us this far. Through the amateurs, a lot of people say, you know, it's never going to work. But, you know, we're different than all them other guys. I love my dad. I love my father. If it wasn't for my dad who paved the way for me, I wouldn't be here today. You know what I mean? He made a name for himself. You know what I mean? And like I said, we got Danny there, we got Fred Jenkins. Fred Jenkins keep that, you know what I mean? Keep that line. I think, you know what I mean, for being cross between me and my father, because he evens everything out, which is, you know what I mean, the patience, the persistence, and my dad understands that.
You're in a knockout streak right now.
Right.
Russell Peltz once said that the greatest one-punch knockout artist he saw in person, you know, was your dad. I mean, that's what he was known for. I mean, you know, like, how many times have you seen tapes of him, and you know, is there a little pressure about, you know, maybe upholding that part of his legacy?
No, not really, because the pressure is off now. Me and my dad made a bet when I first turned pro. He said, I said, Dad, I think I can pass 19 straight knockouts. I think I'm gonna surpass you by 22. I think I'm going for 22 straight. And he looked at me and said, all right, the bet is on. So it was a bet, and I think it was my 4th or 5th fight at the McGonigal Hall. I hurt my hand in the first round. I dropped the kid, and you know what I mean. Ever since then, it went the distance. I won unanimously, but ever since then, I just feel the pressure was off. Everything was just, you know what I mean, back to normal. But it was a lot of pressure on that, because I put my foot in my mouth on that with myself. I asked for that.
Did you lose anything on the bet?
No, the bet was, can I get 22 straight knockouts?
Like,
no, it was just a bet that me and my dad had. You know what I mean? Father and son bet, just kidding around.
Jesse, Derek Finley, kind of a step up, durable guy. He's gone distance, and like we've been talking about the knockout thing. You approach this any differently, being that you know that this guy's gone rounds with some named guys before?
Yeah, I approach this differently. Where I'm pushing for the knockout. He survived in there with the Wards, the Durrells, the Curtis Stevensons. He survived. So to separate myself from them guys that never knocked him out, I have to knock this guy out. I have to. It's no way to separate myself, and I think I'm different. I always tell everybody I'm different than, you know, the average fighters and these guys. But to separate myself from these guys, though, I just named, I have to knock him out. That's what we're pushing for, and that's what we're coming up with, and that's the strategy. Fred Jenkins and my dad and everybody, they you know, we're gonna press it for the knockout.
Do you ever feel like you're almost in a separate category with Top Rank? And you know, because for a long time, Bob had mostly Mexican and Mexican-American fighters. You know, there were big draws in Las Vegas and Los Angeles. And, you know, lately, now he's got this China thing going, and he signed all those gold medalists from all different parts of the world. You know, that seems to be like his new global strategy. You know, do you almost feel like that you know, you're one of the few African-American fighters in his retinue, in his stable? I mean, you know, you kind of feel like maybe a little isolated by that distinction?
No, man. Bob, when we first sat down, Bob said, I want this kid. He's going to be a superstar. I'm going to make you. He said, he's just not going to be a boxing star. I'm going to make you a superstar. I mean, you have what the De La Hoyas had, the Floyd Mayweathers had. He seen it in me, and I was just like, you know, wow, that's tremendous. How can you know what I mean, tell this far out of my career that I have that what these guys had? And he asked me a question. He said, what's the first Mexican that was on the Wheaties box? And I looked at myself and I said, I don't know who was, and I was totally lost. He said, Oscar De La Hoya. He said, that's how big I want you to be. I just don't want you to be a boxing star. You have qualities and quantities to be a mega, huge superstar in the sport of boxing. I'm not going to limit you, and I'm going to take you. I'm going to let you reach them heights. That's what Bob told me himself.
You know, one thing that is also a little bit different when your dad fought, at one point 4 of the top 10 middleweights in the world were from Philadelphia. There would be fight cards at the Spectrum where 2 Philly guys would fight in front of 12, 14,000 people. That's gone away. I don't know that it'll ever come back again, but when you think of the era, I mean, you mentioned the Philadelphia boxing history and all those posters and everything. How much has your dad talked about what it was like then, and do you kind of miss that maybe that kind of situation won't be available for you?
It's going to be available. We always talk about that. Me and my dad, we always say, you know what I mean, well, we're going to start bringing boxing back to the home capital. Once I get there, once I get that world title, you will start seeing fights, you know what I mean, at McGonigal Hall as you did, and 2 years ago, last year or whatever. You will start seeing fights at their height, reaching these cities, because we're going to bring boxing back. And that's why I'm building up my fan base and my fan base around the world, and Bob is building me up tremendously. I love what Top Rank is doing with my career, because they're trying to build it, and I got to hone my craft. He said, at the end of the day, you're going to have your city on your back, and that's what these. I'm not knocking nobody, but that's what fighters are not doing right now. No fighter is if you take a Danny Garcia, he should have had a world title. I'm not speaking bad about him, but a world title fight should have been in place for him at home. You know what I mean? But and that's what I tell Bob. Bob said, if you get a world title, we're going to put you at home going to them. We're not going to keep moving you out Las Vegas. We're going to generate you at your home stable. And I think Bob Arum, I think he's true to that, and he kept his word to me of that. And I mean, God willing, we get a world title. You're going to see a lot of me. You're going to see a lot of me right here in Philadelphia.
How far away is the world title?
Far away is the world title. Bob said within a year. So I believe by. I'm not going to rush it, but I would say by next October you'll see Jesse Hart fight in the contention to fight for a world title.
October this year?
Yes.
Okay.
If that happens, you'll fight for a world title before 2006 in Rio de Janeiro. I mean, I know that what happened. I mean, you were disappointed that dream went by the wayside.
Right.
In 2012 in London. When that rolls around and when you look at Olympic boxing now, I mean, do you ever say, hey, should have happened for me in London in 2012?
No, I don't say that, because at the end of the day, man, it's a sport. You know what I mean? That's spilled milk. I can't go back and I can't get that. You know what I mean? I can't grasp on that. All I can do is move on with my career and focus on the future. Some of the greats didn't get a gold medal. You got Floyd Mayweather. You got, the greats. The last one was to get a gold medal from my city was David Reed, and that's the dream I had when I was fighting for that medal. I wanted to be in the same category as the great David Reed was from our city. You know what I mean? I wanted to reach that height, because that was in 1996. I saw that fight televised live. I was a kid. I was about 6, 7 years old, and I seen that fight, and that's what inspired me. But once they took that from me, it's no longer I can get it back. My dad said, you have to move on and let's go for a world title, and let's, focus on being the greatest fighter that ever lived, not one of the greats.
Back to Derek Finley, despite how durable he is, and you still think you can take him out in 3 rounds?
Yes, I really do. For the preparation that we had for this fight, it was very, very tough and grueling. You yourself, not as a reporter, but as a fighter, you know how tough it was in the gym for me. You know what I mean? Everything we just been focusing on homing our craft so much, because my dad said we want to focus on getting this guy out of there to separate yourself from the past fighters that 40 and the success that they didn't have of knocking him out, and they went the distance with the guy they shouldn't have went the distance with. He's 5'6", he's 168 pounds, he should be really 147. So we're going to make him feel like, we're going to take him into a zone where make him feel like he's 5'6", and he should go back down. I'm looking at him as an undisciplined guy.
Yeah, so he has survival tactics. Oh, okay, go ahead. I mean, he has survival tactics in the ring. Like, even if he is hurt, he'll, do different things, quasi-legal, to keep himself in the fight. Have you prepared, to separate yourself from?
We prepare for that in sparring. My dad, we prepare for everything that he's gotten. It won't be enough for me. I'm coming by storm, and I'm coming to knock him out. Once I have that determination in my mind, I think I can do it. This is the one I want to get him out of here. I don't want this kid to last. I just really feel like if he lasts, then I'll just be put in another category category. I want to go out here and dominate this kid so bad. Either I want to make him quit, or he shouldn't be in there with me.
One of the generic terms is the Philadelphia love hook. It was your dad's signature punch, Joe Frazier's signature punch. I mean, you know, in legend and lore, kids pop out of their mama's wombs, you know, they know how to throw a punch. We've had a couple of those. I mean, is Philadelphia left hook just a legendary thing that's no longer realistic, or do you take, you know, this is something special to you too?
It's something special to me, but at the end of the day, man, my dad taught me how to do it. It's just a punch that everybody honed and everybody learned. Bernard Hopkins, you know what I mean? He that's something that he inherited from Philadelphia fighters and the trainers, the legendary trainers. I think I inherited just from Philadelphia being around in itself. At the end of the day, when you got greats around you, you're going to pick up from certain things. And my dad was, I think, in my opinion, he had the best left hook in the business. So you add that, and you know what I mean, it's in my blood to throw it, it's in my blood to do it. And as long as I got him teaching me how to throw it the correct way, I think it makes out to be tremendous.
All these knockouts, do you have any concerns that, you know, when the fight does go the distance, somebody finds some trouble?
No, I don't have no concern. It's no concern. My dad, like I said, man, we in so much great condition. If it does go the distance, I don't believe I can be tired because, you know what I mean, we doing 10 and 12 rounds in here in the gym. I mean, alone, I'm running 8 and 10 miles every other day. I don't think it'd be no problem. I was just talking to I'm sponsored by Nike, and I was just talking to my Nike guy. He said, do you think, you know what I mean, he asked me the same question. You know, you think he's going to be durable? And you know, he came down here, flew in from California, and watched one of my workouts, and there was no more doubts about will I be durable after.
How long is this one scheduled for?
Supposed to be a 6-rounder, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. How long is it going to go? So I tell you, they ain't going to go past the 3, man. Don't blink and get there early. Get your popcorn and get in your seats early, because it's going to be an early night. I want to separate myself from the wars. It have nothing to do with Philly. It have nothing to do with how he fights. It's not based on around him. It's based on around me. I have a goal, and that's what I want to do. I want to fulfill that goal.